Hi, this is Randall Poole with History 1033, my final project on our primary source. And so here's my presentation on Milarespa's extols his 5 comforts. You'll see in the picture here a representation of Jetson Milarespa, and he was noted as one of the most famous individuals in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. But unfortunately, very little of his life is known with any historical certainty. And so I want to share with you a few things that I did find. Who produced it is Jetson Milarespa. When and where this source was produced is greatly questioned, with a lot of different figures or dates that are presented. But the exact date of this transcription is difficult to determine due to limited historical transcripts. It's recorded that Milarespa lived from 1040 to 1023 AD in the southern region of Tibet. He fled to the cave in Manang, which is in Nepal, where he spent most of his years achieving the Enlightenment. In any case, it is clear that he lived during the 11th and early 12th centuries at the advent of the latter dissemination of Buddhism in Tibet. So I want to share just a few things with you, even though some of the history might be foggy. The article that he had wrote was created to describe the process of Buddhahood. He did this through the expulsion of one's comforts in life. Milarespa describes an encounter with a couple of hunters who stumbled upon him in the cave, and he records the interaction in that of a parable form to show their dependency on the material things. Milarespa sings a song expressing his 5 comforts in response to their comment when they make note of him and say, "It's no wonder that thy body hath been reduced to this miserable plight." Here we find a quote from Milarespa. It says that in my youth I committed black deeds. He was responsible for killing his father, killing animals, and therefore fled because of his black deeds. But in maturity, I practiced innocence. Now, released from both good and evil, I have destroyed the root of karmic action and shall have no reason for action in the future. To say more than this would only cause weeping and laughter. What would it do to tell you, I am an old man, leave me in peace? Here we find the Himalayas, and this would be looking from the southern side of the mountain range coming out of Manang in Nepal. This would be a bridge on the trailway. This is modern day trailway up to where his cave would have been. And here you'll see the entryway into the cave. This is where Milarespa spent much of his time in disciplining himself to rid himself of comforts. Buddhism works off of 4 principles in which we learn enlightenment through not having need and not having want, but learning really to be content. So this article really describes 5 comforts that Milarespa was able to get rid of. The main idea of the content of this source, though, is that Milarespa explains how he has rid himself from many of the pleasures in life when the hunters pity him from his lack of food, clothing, even seasonings to cook, and his physical stature being weak and skin and bone. Milarespa expresses that he is one of the most fortunate and best amongst all who have obtained the human life. He claims that by denying himself or myself the trivial pleasures to be derived from food, clothing, and fame, I am subduing the enemy, which he notes is ignorance, in this very lifetime. One thing that's very interesting to note is that Milarespa is the first person to have conferred Buddhahood in one lifetime. This is without the reincarnation. This is without that circle of life and trying to do over and over and better each time. But he is subduing the enemy in this very lifetime, is what he says. This is the reference of the reincarnation. It seems that this article provides significant value to those who follow Buddhism and seek to attain nirvana, everyone has the potential to awaken, but must rely on his or her own determination. The thing about Buddhism is that the individual is responsible for fighting against demons. And Milarepa recognizes that these demons are as invaders. He disavows his responsibility for them. Milarepa learns that these demons are inside of him. This is his evil deeds. These are things that he has to fight against, perceptions, on and on and on. But this disavowment is analogous to the psychoanalytical disavowal of one's badness, that karma that Milarepa talks about. Though he has progressed far in his spiritual development, Milarepa is not ready to acknowledge that the demons are his. To do so would have required relinquishing the affirmation of his personal identity as a good object. Milarepa in his cave, continues to have interactions with Indian demons, and it's taken him a long time interacting with these demons to come to the realization that these demons are a psychological battle taking place as he continues to give up the comforts that he needs to disavow himself of. And as he does that, as he conquers those demons, then he attains this status of the supreme Buddhahood, or nirvana, the stature of peace and enlightenment. So I think that this primary source provides some significant historical value as we look at the spread of Buddhism, specifically within the Tibet region, but also the Asian world as a whole. And so that is the bibliography page with all the references that I've shared in the text today. Thank you.